Hey guys, welcome back to a new video, and in this video I'm gonna show you how to use solid principle while validating your fields. So if you don't know about solid principle, I'm gonna put my video link in the description box. You can go and check it out by yourself. In this particular video I am not going to explain what solid principles are. So first thing first, we need here a package, and the package name is of course validation. And in this validation I am going to create here an interface name is validation rule, which eventually contains all of your logic, all of your validation logic that you want to use in any place or at any field. It's a generic one, validation rule of type T. This contains a function validate. We need to pass the value, and value type is same, I mean the generic type. Now it will return something what we called validation result. Now this validation result is a sealed interface that we are going to create. So for that, create a file, and the file name is validation result. It's a sealed interface, make sure. That has two cases. Either we have the valid case or we have invalid case. So for the valid, I am going to use here a data object naming valid. For the invalid, we'll use here a data class, because for invalid case we also want to pass message. Again it uses our validation result. Cool. So now we have validation result that has two cases. One is valid, another one is invalid. Valid is a data object because in case of valid we do not want to pass any kind of specific message, but in case of invalid we want to show something to our user, and that message should be passed through this data class. That's why I'm using here a variable message. Come back to your validation rule, and return type of this function is validation result. Now I'm going to write a very simple rule, and the rule is I want to write a rule which checks whether the input field is required field or not. So for that, let's create here a class, and the class name is required rule. It's a class and it uses validation rule because in this particular class we are going to write a rule, and of course we want to write it on string type. Let me just minimize this thing. Override validate function, and in this function you can write your logic. So first thing first, it directly follows the single responsibility principle because all of your logic is encapsulated in a single class. So now we can check if my value is blank. If my value is blank, that means something got wrong, and we'll use here our validation result, and it's a invalid. By the way, if you want to pass here your custom message, you can very easily do it. Here create a class member variable, private val message type is string, and I'm gonna initialize this required field. Now simply pass your message here. Otherwise validation result dot valid, just return it. So now we have the rule. So this rule help us to checks whether user had entered anything in our text field or not. Now I want to write one more rule which checks the minimum length. Let's say I want minimum length of 2 of a particular string. So for that, create here a class, and the class name is min length. Create a class member variable which has the message. If it is a case of invalid, we gonna use this message. Next member variable should be the minimum length. It's an integer value, and I want to use here integer dot maximum value. Use your validation rule, and of course we gonna use here type is string. Override the function, and here we'll check if my value length is less than or equals to the minimum length. We're gonna return here validation result dot invalid and pass the message. Otherwise, validation result valid. Return it. So now we have two rules. It's time to create an orchestrator which orchestrate all of these rule at one place. So for that, create here a class, and the class name is validator. It's a generic class, and in this we're gonna pass our list of rules. List validation rule of type T, and again it uses validation rule, type is T. Override the validate function, and in this you can use all of your rule, iterate one by one and perform the validation. Pass your value, we have the result, and we'll check if our result is a type of validation result dot invalid. We simply return result. If everything goes well, at the end we're gonna return here validation result dot valid. This is the orchestrator which orchestrate a list of validation rules. Now it's time to use it. So to use it, what I can do, I can come here in my main activity, and here at the top I am going to create a validator. So private val validator, create an object of validator, and in this we're gonna pass list of rules. So first one is our required rule, and the second one is minimum length rule. So now we have two validator, and in this minimum length rule we need to pass the message, I mean the error message, and the length. Let's pass the message. Length should be, let's say, 4, and for the minimum length I would say 7. We're going to use this validator. So to use this validator, come here, and I'm gonna use my validator dot validate and pass my value. So first I'm gonna use here empty string, grab the result. We'll check with when. So we have two cases. First one is validation result valid. We'll use here logcat and say valid. This is the first case. Now for the second case we'll use validation result invalid log t, and we're gonna show the message, I mean the error message. So a result dot message, and make sure to use here is, and I'm gonna stringify those tags so that we can see these tags. Make it a little bigger. Alright, so now we are done. So first I'm passing here empty. Empty means this field is required. We must receive the error message. I mean, we shall come here in the invalid branch and print the error message. Alright, so now I am going to execute this application. Alright, so app is running. Let's open our logcat and filter this tag. Okay, so as you can see here, it's a required field, and this is the correct behavior. This is what we are expecting. Now let's do something for the minimum. Let's use here to length string, and now if I execute it, we shall receive the second rule invalidation. As you can see, length should be 4. Okay, so length should be 4. Nice. Now I'm gonna add few more characters in this string and I re-execute it. Okay, so now you can see it's valid. So this is the way of validating your field or anything in which you want to perform validation. It's a solid way, because now let's say you want to add a new rule. You simply come here, create a class, implement your rule, and this validator help us to orchestrate all of our rule at once. I hope you got the idea why you should use this approach instead of the previous approach in which you create a if else, you'll use when expressions. This is the perfect way of writing your validation logic. It follows solid, and also you can put this in your core utility module if you are having a lot of modules in your project. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you will get something interesting by this video.